Guess who's back? Back again. Rian is back. I would say tell a friend, but geez, maybe go tell a priest, a preacher, your local father, and do some praying. This might be a quite a journey over the next, I'd say, 10 years if this does happen. A report from LRM Online. Now, credibility-wise, I'm not going to advocate for them. I'm just going to say I trust this news because of what I personally know. Here's the report that they're saying. Earlier this week, we announced that Taika Waititi's Star Wars film would be releasing in 2024. That means the 2022 Star Wars film on December 18th, I believe, is going to be delayed up until 2024 with Taika's Star Wars film coming out then. But a source from Lucasfilm over there for LRM says that the Rian Johnson Star Wars films are still on track and will be released after Taika's Star Wars film in 2024. That means likely the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy will start releasing in 2026. And if we're going to do what we've been doing and doing a 2-year gap, that means another one in 2028 and then the final one in 2030. Jesus, 2030. That's 10 years away! Anyways, they say that since The Last Jedi, Johnson went on to write and direct the critically acclaimed Knives Out. It was so well received that it warranted a sequel that he's currently working on, and it will be released before the Star Wars trilogy. And since the films are going to start releasing in 2024, and Rian Johnson's reportedly, allegedly, Star Wars trilogy is not happening until 2026, the source at Lucasfilm says that it gives Rian a time to flesh out the scripts and the story and all that, really work on it. And I know a lot of people don't believe this trilogy is happening. It's one of those things where if there is a very uncredible source that comes out and says the trilogy's not happening, people go, oh, well, since it's good news and I don't like Rian Johnson, then it's not happening. Thank God we can believe anyone and everyone who says it doesn't happen. But when something like this comes out and it's saying that, no, it most likely still is happening, they're like, nope, it's fake news, can't be real. Sounds like an awful idea, therefore I cannot let that happen. Let's be honest here, guys. When it comes to official announcements, words from Lucasfilm and Rian Johnson himself, this trilogy's still happening. When is it happening? I don't know. Here's my 2 cents on this. I'm okay with Rian Johnson getting his trilogy. And that may be a hot take. You may ask yourself why. Am I a fan of Rian Johnson? Well, no. The only film he's made that I would say I liked was Looper. I saw Knives Out. It was okay. Didn't love it. Didn't hate it. Writing, yet again, was my problem. Last Jedi, definitely didn't like it. I was the first, if not one of the first ever critics of that film. Vocally, since the trailer came out, I was not a fan. But all that to be said, I think if Rian Johnson gets his own Star Wars story that's not centered around characters that we know and love, it's not the middle act of a 3-act story, he may make a good film. He may make a good trilogy. The story may be intriguing. The story behind The Last Jedi, at least when it came to Luke and Rey and the dark side and the light, it was a little interesting at times. It just did not work for the characters and the story that we were already taking a part of. So, I think that this trilogy is happening just because of the people over there at Lucasfilm. When it comes to the production for the previous Disney Star Wars films, literally every single one since Disney bought Star Wars, every single one has had major production problems. The least major production problem that they had was with Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. The biggest thing that one had was an 8-month delay from May to December, and that's because Rian Johnson wanted to rewrite the script. He didn't expect that so many people would respond positively to Finn, Rey, and Poe, and Kylo Ren. So he rewrote the script to put more of their characters in, but despite what happens with rewrites, that literally was the only problem that The Last Jedi had. All the other films had major production problems and a lot of creative differences. Why would you not, at least from Lucasfilm's perspective, go for the guy who works with you best? Kathy Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm at the moment, is a huge Rian Johnson fan. She is the reason that he came over into these films and started making Star Wars. They announced that he was getting his trilogy before The Last Jedi even came out. That's how much faith the people over there at Lucasfilm have. So if Kathleen Kennedy is going to stay on as president of Lucasfilm, I could see her being the one to say, yeah, I'm going to protect Rian Johnson's trilogy because it's something I'm truly invested in. Back in 2019, Chicago Celebration, I was there. Kathy Kennedy herself said, I'm going to talk with David and Dan from the Game of Thrones series, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. She was going to talk to them, and she mentioned Rian Johnson over the summer and talk with them about the future of Star Wars. We now know what happened. David and Dan left. They're no longer doing their Star Wars trilogy, and now the only one that's left is Rian Johnson's. So what's the 2024 Star Wars film? Right now, word on the street is Taika's film. We don't know what it's about, when it's set, or anything. And we're in the same boat for Rian Johnson's trilogy. We don't know what it's going to be about, what era it's in, or anything like that. Personally, here's how I hope things go. I hope he writes and directs the first one, just because I know he's going to write and direct one of them. So let's just get the first one out of the way. I hope someone else directs the other two. I hope Rian takes the George Lucas route with the original trilogy, comes up with the story, and then lets other people work on the screenplay, maybe brings in another director or two, just bringing in more collaborative minds. I do not like the Last Jedi treatment that he gave of, I'm going to write and direct this film. I normally don't like it, mainly when it comes to Star Wars. When directors write and direct the film, you look at the prequels, you look at the only one that George Lucas wrote and directed that I thought went really well was A New Hope, and that was mostly due to the editing by his wife Marsha Lucas and a lot of the collaboration that he had. But when you don't have collaboration in Star Wars, when it's just one guy writing and directing everything, you get things like The Last Jedi, you get things like The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Why don't we get something like The Mandalorian, where you have Jon Favreau who's producing it and writing it, but then he brings in Dave Filoni to write it as well, and then he brings in someone like Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard, so many different directors to come in and also work in this project with Star Wars. I like that collaborative effort in Star Wars, and I would love to see that happen with the Rian Johnson trilogy, if it truly does happen. Right now, with the powers that be over there at Lucasfilm and the recent success to his movie Knives Out, I see the Rian Johnson trilogy still happening. Remember, they got rid of David and Dan Benioff from the Game of Thrones series after Season 8 came out. Not before, after. They got rid of Colin Trevorrow after the Book of Henry came out. And that film did not do well. He was the original guy for Episode 9. Just saying, history has shown if a director for a Star Wars film has a recent movie that does not do well, or bad reports about that director, like Josh Trank when he was working on Fantastic Four, Lucasfilm is more likely to get rid of that director in the near future than anything else. So if Rian Johnson's coming off a very successful film of Knives Out, who does critically well, audiences like it, and it does really well in the box office, I don't see why Lucasfilm would look at that and say, alright, well maybe he shouldn't get his trilogy. I just think that all signs point to yes, that the Rian Johnson trilogy is happening, and it's just something we're going to have to come to peace with. But we have a solid 4 to 6 years to wait. I can't wait to see the narratives at the Fandom Drive for the next, good God, 10 years! Oh, Star Wars Only will be 30 by the time the Rian Johnson trilogy comes out. Oh my God. No, I'll be 31. That's even worse. Well, we'll find out when we get there, won't we, boys? I'm Star Wars Only. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it does help out the channel. Do you think the Rian Johnson trilogy is happening in 2026? Or do you think it's not happening at all? Tell me your thoughts below. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you. Always.